Hi, I'm Eric Pratt from US Broadcast Distribution. Today we're talking about Zanus's Pauli PT head. It is this gigantic, robust, heavy-duty 45-pound payload pan-tilt head capable of carrying just about any kind of camera and additional equipment that you can imagine. It is capable of integrating with Canon, Fujinon, and PD Movie lens integrations as well as Land-C. Today we have the PD Movie Air on it so that we can demonstrate that I'm able to control for example, the zoom on a lens that doesn't have any remote IP integration using an IP controller like the Scarhoy PTZ Extreme, which we're using today via a Sony Visca protocol to not just control the Pauli head, but as well as all the PTZ cameras in here. Through Blue Pill, we've added a number of different cameras, and that is one of the integrations that we want to show here. The other neat thing is that the back of the unit also has a number of different connectors on it to keep it cable free. Not the case that we have today, because we're about to do a demo for the Media Edge QD Cam, which uses a quad SDI connection. So there's two SDI connectors down here which connect through to the base. There's 6G SDI, and that allows for you to have, say, two 6G connections out to your camera, as well as 12-volt 4-pin XLR power and DTAP and an Ethernet connectivity, which is really nice. All of that would give you cable-free access to your camera through the base station. So it's a really nice solution, and we're going to take a closer look at how it all integrates together. So we're going to start here with the lens control block. This is where we can use to connect with a Canon or a Fujinon lens. In this case, we're using PD Movie to connect to any non-motorized lens. So we can use the zoom ring on a PTZ controller to send commands via IP through to the unit, which will then translate it into PD Movie to the Air unit, which will send zoom, focus, and iris controls through to a motorized unit, which we've calibrated or can calibrate to work with any lens, which is very nice workflow. And then around the back here, we have DTAP. DTAP can go from DTAP to 12-volt DTAP to DTAP to just about anything they have these days. Same thing's true with the 12-volt. Some between these two, you'll be able to adapt one cable to one device, and maybe you can use another one of these to power a monitor. Because of that 45-pound payload, we have a lot of room for error here in terms of what we can stack on here, especially when we're using such a small camera. We also in the lens department have Land-C or LANC control, so that is in addition. We can use this to convert from those IP controls over to a LANC controllable camera. Below that is Ethernet. We could use an RCP to shade any IP controllable camera. An Arri, an EVA1, there's a pretty wide range, but we could also use this to send, for example, NDI-HX. This is two 6G SDIs. We can take the output of your camera into there, and that, again, that completes that sort of cableless workflow, so you don't have these cables that are hanging down. This is an unusual case in that the Media Edge camera is a quad 3G because it's a 240 FPS camera. So all of these are cabled through down to here where we have our Ethernet, our SDI, and of course our IP is where we're getting all that connection through. So I'll take you on a quick tour of the Zanus web UI. So over here, if we punch in the IP address of the unit at port 3000, that lets us access things like its pan and tilt limits, its acceleration, position, and velocity. So these are how we set it to be either very responsive or have a very smooth movement. Lens control configuration. This is where we can calibrate the PD Movie or, depending on the other lenses, calibrate those. Network settings, this is where we set its IP address, and over here are the control settings. This allows us to adjust those PD Movie different rings, as well as if we're using a motorized lens. Joystick sensitivity, pan and tilt limits, and then this thing in here, it's the control that allows us to control the unit using the pan and tilt of the right here on the screen. And that's Zanus's Pauli PT head. It is a way of adding pan tilt to cameras big and small, allowing you to control them anywhere in a facility, regardless of whether they're manned or not. Zanus makes a variety of other products. They make a motorized elevator, so if you can picture this guy going up and down. They also make a track, allowing it to slide along the floor, and combinations of tracks and elevators and pan tilt heads give you a lot of degrees of freedom. We are particularly interested in a Zanus, Pauli, and Waterbird MSXL combination. We hope to have an integration for that and a video on that coming soon. And Zanus is also working on a smaller version of the Pauli, the Paulinho, which, while it will have a lower payload and perhaps less features, might have a more consumer-friendly price point. If you have any further questions, U.S. Broadcast is Zanus's representative in the Americas, and we are happy to answer any questions for you. And once again, thanks for watching.